project directly correlates with what I hope to do in the future. In college, I'll be studying political science and international affairs. And a large part of why I chose this project is because I wanted to ensure that I was up to date with current international issues. And I hope to bring to York a curriculum that will help to inform the student body as well about international affairs and global issues.
That's a good question. I personally don't think that they are designed to lessen your quality of life, but I do think there's a major factor where they are made to get you hooked and addicted to the food, the snack, whatever you want, the candy. I've done research in different areas such as Monterey and Paris, France, and Lush, France, and my research tells me and shows me that there are big price differentials in the food industry, and especially in the healthier foods.
I do believe emotional labor can be applied to other classes and even our whole lives together. I think when you apply the concept of emotional labor, I think strong belief here that we have all at some point felt emotionally labored in our lives. Knowing the process of emotional labor with stimulus appraisal leading to us having these emotions come up, leading to emotional labor, they can manifest in all sects of our lives. And as for language, as our global scholars have researched and discussed about, language is more than just words. It is a means of communication, identity, culture. All of these things constitute a language. So when you feel emotionally labored from a language, it is more than perhaps feeling emotionally labored after a bad family gathering. You feeling emotionally labored from the language may block out certain parts of this language, and it will really impede your progress and comprehension and your feelings about the language.
I came up with two major solutions for my topic. The first one was a collaboration between a larger corporation and smaller businesses so that tourists who visit the larger major attraction are then ushered to the smaller businesses that are connected with them and they can patronize them. The second idea that I came up with was a government initiative which offered incentives to tourists so that they wouldn't just visit the major attractions in the city and leave the smaller businesses to fend for themselves.
So I think there's a very important distinction to make between dying language and an extinct language. An extinct language is a language that is completely not spoken at all. Dying language is there are fewer speakers in modern times. An extinct language is very difficult to bring back, but dying languages, there is definitely a possibility of bringing them back. Welsh, for example, is one of the fastest growing languages. It's brought back from nearly the brink of extinction. And you cannot force someone to speak a language, you can't force someone to learn a language, but I think that's why it's so important to spread awareness and inspire people to learn a language. My French teacher.
So what I worked on was a combined Global Scholars and STEM Scholars program. So it consisted of two parts. One was a bunch of quantitative data analysis for MST, the Monterey Salinas Transit, where I was looking at their youth and college pass program. And then the second aspect of it was a synthesis of a lot of research on the different ways that public transport touches on issues of accessibility and equity in a lot of different ways, including sustainability and many other things. And what was interesting for me about this was looking at the two different sides of it and combining what I might be doing in the future, which is maybe more quantitative analysis or advancing technologies for public transport or other things, whereas the Global Scholar side was really about mindfulness and how these technologies really impact people and society and everyday life. So learning about technologies while also being mindful of the people they really affect was important to me and something that I will carry with me.
I have never really thought of it, but I do believe that people go on a downward spiral when they're looking for bad news, I guess you could say, because once someone finds something that's bad, they always look for something that's worse. So I really wanted to stay away from that in my project and focus on the positive stories. And I used the short story format in order to like show that you can have interest in positive stories, because in a short story we always want to look for what the meaning of it is, or like the lesson that could be learned at the end.
The obstacles that I had to face when doing the research for this topic was just finding reliable resources, finding sources that weren't too biased, because every website has a bias of some kind. So it's just finding some websites that were truthful, factual, and honest.
I think the similarities have a lot to do with just the location, geography, and the fact that they're both islands, but differences. I think the language, they're vastly different. The vocabulary is very different. I mean, konnichiwa, which is hello in Japanese, is haisai in Uchanguchi, and those sound nothing alike. Japanese language is very kind of formal and traditional, whereas Okinawa is a lot more like just informal, a lot more familial, and a lot more like you can have fun, you can meet people at the supermarket, or you can laugh out loud in public, whereas Japanese is a lot more traditional.